So if you're a beginner runner and you're looking for tips on how to run faster, then stick around because this is the video for you. Now, I went from being a runner that was running 15-minute miles to now I can run a mile in just over 8 minutes, and I'm continuously getting faster all the time. And so I'm going to share with you the 3 things that helped me to run faster. Now, I will tell you, it is no secret. In order to run faster, you have to run faster. And so the first thing that I did was I incorporated sprints into my run. And the way that I incorporated sprints, especially early on when I was a beginner runner, was that I would do intervals, and I would do a 1 minute, 30-second, 1 minute interval. That was a 1 minute walk, a 30-second jog, and then a 1 minute all out sprint. And for that sprint, I would look for a speed that I could obviously hold for 1 minute, but that was just slightly uncomfortable. Like it took me completely out of my comfort zone. But again, I could hold it for 1 minute. But the moment that minute hit, I was ready. I was dialing it back on the treadmill. And I would do this 1:31 split for 30 to 35 minutes. And I did that 3 to 4 times a week. And what I found is that over time, I was able to increase my speeds on all parts of the interval. So I would gradually increase my speed on the walk. I would gradually increase my speed on the jog. I would gradually increase my speed on the sprint. And that was how I learned to run faster, just starting from an uncomfortable place with those sprints and gradually getting faster over time with all aspects of those intervals. The second thing that I was doing that helped me to increase my speed was I was running hills. Now, I got my running start in Atlanta. That's where I started my running journey. And I used to live behind Stone Mountain. And Stone Mountain is this national park in Stone Mountain, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta, and it has a loop around the base of the mountain that is 5 miles long, and it is hilly. It is nothing but up and down, all the way around the base of this mountain. And so I would go to Stone Mountain and I would run the 5-mile base of the mountain, and I was just going up and down the hills. And what I found was that as I was going up the hill, if I would slow down and I would really pick up my knees, then eventually I didn't have to walk the hills. I could run the hills. I just simply had to slow down enough and really be deliberate about picking up my knees, picking up my feet. And what that did, because I was now running the hills versus stopping and walking up the hills, is that when I got on a flatter course, I didn't have to do that, right? I didn't have to slow down and pick up my knees when I was on a flatter course. I could just simply keep running through. And so I was able to increase my speed, especially on less flatter routes, because I was always training on this really hilly route. And my sole goal every time I ran that route, every time I ran the base of that mountain, was to get faster. And the only way to do that was to run the hills. I could not walk the hills and get faster, so I had to figure out something. And so once I figured out, I could slow down, lift up my knees, and I could run that 5 miles nonstop, then from there, it was just simply getting faster, going a little faster at it, and trying to beat my last time. And again, you run faster by running faster. So once you get your technique down, then you have to get out of your comfort zone with speed and push it a little more. And that was how I was able to conquer Stone Mountain and then get faster as I was running less hilly routes. And it was simply because I was training on those hills all the time. And finally, a third thing that really helped me to become a faster runner is I would pace a faster runner. And what I mean by this is I would go out to group runs and I would find someone who ran at a slightly faster pace than I did, and I would pace that person. I would try to keep up with that person no matter how uncomfortable it was. My sole goal was to keep up with that person. My sole goal was to only be a few steps behind that person, to keep them in my line of sight. And by doing that, a lot of times I was running faster than my typical pace simply because I was solely focused on them. I was solely focused on keeping them in my line of sight. I do that now in races. When I go to races, I'll pick a person, you can tell in the first, few minutes or so who's going to be kind of in your pack in terms of your pace and your speed. And I would pick a person who was, a few feet in front of me, and that would be my pacer. And I would follow that person. And when that person crossed the street, I would cross the street. And when that person slowed down for water, I would slow down for water. And, I was running outside of my typical pace. I was running a little faster than my typical pace because I was simply trying to keep up. And I would do that over the course of the race. And so I would encourage you to find a run community, find a running group where you can actually find someone who's just slightly faster than you and then pace them throughout the course of the run. And it has to be it can't be someone who's doing about the same speed as you. It has to be someone who's just slightly faster than you. And then as you continue to, pace people that are faster than you, because now you're running faster, you're going to run faster. Again, it kind of goes right back to the first thing I said. If you want to run faster, you have to run faster. So those are the 3 things that helped me to run faster: incorporating sprints into my run, running hills, and pacing someone that was faster than me. Now, this video has been helpful to you. If you've learned something new here, you want to see more in this beginner runner series, take a moment and give it a thumbs up so that I know that you enjoy this type of content. If you haven't subscribed yet, take a moment, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you here as part of the community. I would love to be able to create more content that you're interested in seeing. So leave me a note in the comments and let me know what other topics you'd like for me to talk about. Take care and happy running.